So today we're going to break down a particularly nasty scam. It's a kind of heist that doesn't go after a weakness in your computer, but a strength in your character, your basic respect for the law. We're going inside what's called the Sovereign Siphon to show you exactly how imposters use the fear of the government to completely bypass your logic and, well, drain your life savings. Let's get into it.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. Your phone rings. The caller ID? It might even say IRS. A very serious, very official-sounding voice on the other end gives you a federal badge number. Then they tell you that a warrant has just been issued for your arrest because of some tax mistake you supposedly made years ago. And then they drop the hammer. The police will be at your house in 30 minutes unless you pay a settlement right now. Right there, that's not just a spam call. It's the first shot in a psychological attack designed to cause immediate, overwhelming panic.
And this is where the whole thing gets so cruelly twisted. You see, this scam works best not on rebels, but on the people who follow the rules. It targets good citizens. In this high-stakes game, your civic obedience, your fundamental desire to do the right thing and respect the law, isn't a virtue, it's a vulnerability. It's actually the master key the predator uses to unlock your trust and, from there, your bank account.
All right, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start by looking at how your obedience is targeted. Then we'll deconstruct the regulatory anxiety trap they set. After that, we'll map out the entire anatomy of the scam. We'll also get into the psychology of why it's so effective. And finally, we'll build your defense, ending on one key takeaway. The IRS writes, it doesn't bark.
Okay, let's start with the psychological bedrock of this whole thing. This isn't just some clever trick. It's a full-on biological and social exploit. These scammers have absolutely perfected a way to weaponize that deep-seated kind of primal tax fear that, let's be honest, a lot of us have. They've engineered a trap that works on a really simple equation. When your fear of a powerful institution goes way up, your logical resistance to a strange request plummets to zero.
The specific state they're trying to push you into is what we call regulatory anxiety. You can think of it as a manufactured, bureaucratic panic. It's a condition where the pure terror of being in trouble with an authority like the IRS completely short-circuits the part of your brain that's supposed to handle critical thinking. Their whole goal is to transform a total stranger on the phone into a figure you see as a federal agent, someone who can literally destroy your life with a single command.
Now, to build this panic, they use a very specific toolkit. First, they use your personal data, stuff that's often bought on the dark web, like your social security number or address, to seem legit. Second, they use what's called temporal compression, basically forcing this entire crisis into one frantic phone call so you have absolutely no time to think. Third is the arrest narrative, that terrifying story about a warrant, and all of that leads to identity coercion, where you're forced to drain your own accounts just to stay out of jail.
And look, the stakes here, they couldn't be higher. This isn't about losing a couple $100. The financial damage is designed to be total. The scam is built to guide victims to liquidate their entire life savings. We're talking 401ks, retirement funds, everything. And honestly, the psychological trauma of realizing your own good citizenship was used against you, that often lasts way longer than the financial loss.
All right, next up, we're going to get clinical. We're going to treat this scam like an intelligence operation and do a step-by-step breakdown of its playbook. Because this isn't some random phone call. It's a highly scripted performance with very distinct phases, and each one is designed to ramp up the pressure and shut down your ability to think clearly.
So this whole heist, it unfolds in 5 very calculated phases. First, information anchoring, to seem credible. Second, the penalty hook, to drop the threat. Third, negotiation and isolation, to cut you off from any help. Fourth is the extraction, to get the money. And finally, the silence trap, which lets them disappear without a trace. And the speed of this attack is absolutely key. The entire 5-phase operation is squeezed into a single phone call, often less than an hour long. It kicks off with them using your real data to sound official. Then bam, the threat, an arrest warrant. The solution they offer requires your total isolation. The payment, the extraction, it's always through untraceable methods like gift cards. And then they just vanish, leaving you with a fake case number and a promise of a letter in the mail that is never, ever going to arrive.
Let's just zero in on that third phase for a second. Isolation. This is where the scammer creates what is essentially a digital prison. They offer you a settlement to make the warrant go away, but it comes with some very strict rules. Rule 1, you cannot hang up the phone. Rule 2, you cannot talk to anyone else. And Rule 3, if you break either of those rules, they claim the police will be dispatched to your house immediately. This cage is designed specifically to sever your connection to reality.
So we've seen how the scam works. But the bigger question is why? Why does this work, even on smart, responsible people? Well, the scammer isn't exploiting some technical flaw on a computer system. No, they're exploiting a psychological feature hardwired into us, our deference to authority and our sense of civic duty.
To really get this, we have to talk about how our brain processes threats. We basically have two systems. System 1 is our uh-oh brain. It's fast, automatic, and reactive. It's our fear response. System 2 is our let's think this through brain. It's slow, analytical, and deliberate. The entire scam is engineered to activate and trap you in System 1. They use this high arousal pacing, throwing out badge numbers, talking about police, to make sure your analytical System 2 brain never even gets a chance to turn on. This high-pressure environment triggers a state of what's called cognitive paralysis. It's basically the brain's natural freeze response. The threat of arrest coming from someone you perceive as an authority figure is so overwhelming that it makes it almost impossible to spot the glaring absurdities in the situation. So, when your logical brain finally pipes up and says, "Wait a minute, pay the IRS with gift cards?" it's already too late. Your fear-driven brain has taken over and your hand is already grabbing your car keys.
And this really brings us to the absolute core of the psychological exploit. You have to understand, the scammer isn't breaking into IRS computer systems. They are hacking your sense of duty. They're weaponizing your morality. Your fear of doing something wrong becomes the ultimate leverage for the entire heist. They hijack your civic identity and turn your desire to be a good, law-abiding citizen into the very tool that destroys your financial security.
Okay, now for the most important part, your defense. Because neutralizing this scam requires a clear, simple strategy. The weapon against this kind of psychological attack is a pretty simple tool called bureaucratic friction. It is all about one thing: slowing things down. Here is your 4-step protocol. It's easy to remember. First, conduct an aggression audit. If a caller is threatening you with immediate arrest, it is 100% a scam. End of story. Second, use the portal shield. The only place you should ever verify your tax status is directly on the official irs.gov website. Third, you have to insist on the mail-only step. The real IRS always initiates contact through the good old US Postal Service. And finally, report the comm. Report it to TIGTA, that's the official group that investigates these scams. By doing that, you help protect other people.
And here is the practical tool you can memorize right now, the administrative exit script. The second you suspect something's off, you calmly and firmly say this: "I handle all tax matters through official mail. If there is an issue, please send the documentation to my address on file. I am ending this call." Then you hang up. Don't argue, don't engage, just state your protocol and end the interaction.
And this script? It's the ultimate litmus test. A scammer, whose entire strategy depends on speed and panic, will react with, well, more panic and anger. They'll escalate the threats. The police are coming right now. A real agent, on the other hand, will remain professional and calm. They operate inside a legal process that is, by design, slow and documented. That difference in reaction is your definitive proof of fraud.
So, let's bring this all together into the single most important principle. If you can internalize this one idea, it will serve as an unbreakable shield against this kind of fraud.
See, here's the fundamental difference, and it's everything. A real government agency follows the code, the legal code, the administrative code. Their processes are slow, they are deliberate, and they are documented. A scammer, on the other hand, follows the clock. Their entire operation is based on creating a crisis that has to be solved in the next 60 minutes. Urgency is their weapon. Process is your defense. So I want you to have this simple, powerful mantra. It's your personal shield. Just remember it. I don't pay on the phone, I check the portal, I wait for the mail. This little 3-part phrase, that's your entire defensive strategy right there. And as we close out, I want to leave you with one final thought. We've deconstructed the IRS impersonation scam, but the psychological exploit at its core, our authority bias, that's universal. That tendency we all have to obey figures we see as legitimate authorities is incredibly powerful. So the question to carry with you is this: now that you can recognize this playbook, where else in your life might this same bias be making you vulnerable?